So we got some news concerning WarnerMedia as layoffs have started again. And this time it is looking pretty brutal. And when you look at DC is going through a complete bloodbath as WarnerMedia has grabbed the axe and is starting to chop heads. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today. And if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So we got a lot of news to cover here with WarnerMedia. A lot is going on. DC's Bloodbath, the start, as well as the results of it. We have a lot to go through, as well as news concerning what might be the potential future for Crunchyroll, as well as Rooster Teeth. There is a lot going on here. No company under WarnerMedia is safe whatsoever. I mean, this is brutal. And you want to talk about people losing their jobs. When you see how much is expected to potentially lose their jobs, it's really bad. WarnerMedia layoffs expected to hit Warner Bros. HBO. Now, as we already know, WarnerMedia has been focusing on HBO being their primary source, number one to them, right? Well, take a look at this, because it's about to get brutal. WarnerMedia is expected to let go of at least 800 staffers. 800. At its Warner Bros. And HBO operations as part of a broad restructuring put in place by the unit CEO, Jason Kilar. Warner Bros. Is expected to commence layoffs of around 650 people starting Monday. According to people familiar with the matter, while HBO is seen shedding between 150 and 175 staffers. Good God. People are losing their jobs left and right. This is insane. A WarnerMedia spokesman declined to comment. Oh, of course they're not going to comment. I mean, why would they, right? I mean, seriously, they're not going to say anything about it. But, they're going to be cutting down on that debt. They're trying to cut as much as they possibly can, and they're just throwing people under the bus. I mean, the axe has been taken out. Heads are rolling. I mean, take a look at this. WarnerMedia begins layoffs in latest streamlining effort. Now, this one talks about some pretty big people in the company getting chopped even. Layoffs underway Monday at WarnerMedia, with about 600 staffers departing the company, sources told Deadline. The reductions from a workforce of about 25,000 follow major changes announced late Friday by WarnerMedia CEO Jason Kilar. Among the senior level employees exiting the company, no, they're not exiting, no, they're getting the boot. That's why they're exiting. It's not because they're exiting of their own free will. They're getting the boot. Jeffrey R. Schleisinger, I don't know, I butchered that, I'm sure. President of Warner Bros. Worldwide Television Distribution, Ron Sanders, President of Worldwide Theatrical Distribution and Home Entertainment, and Warner Bros. Entertainment CFO Kim Williams. These are big heads. These are big people within the company, and they have all been chopped. Here's the thing. When it comes to a company, when they chop big people like this that had huge positions, well, get ready, because everybody underneath them that are in any company, because no company's safe, okay? None. Not a single one is safe. They're going to chop their heads next. I mean, they're already trying to get rid of Warner Bros. Gaming, to try to lower debt. Even though that's like one of their biggest money makers, they think that that's a good idea, which is clearly idiotic. And, here's the thing. They're going to sell off whatever they can as well to get that debt down. That's exactly what they're doing. The only thing they care about is streaming. HBO Max, that's their priority, and that's all they care about. But this is the most important part of this article here. Take a look at this. Reducing costs through staff reductions, asset sales, and other means have been a central focus of AT&T as it has worked to absorb the $81 billion acquisition of Time Warner, which was renamed WarnerMedia. The company reported $152 billion in net debt as of June 30th, after having taken on $40 billion in debt for the Time Warner deal alone. Shares in AT&T were up a fraction in midday trading Monday, just past $30. Like other media stocks, AT&T's took a hit in late February as the extent of the global pandemic became clear and has not recovered to near the $39 mark where it began in 2020. And seeing that WarnerMedia has not recovered anything, and seeing how the launch of HBO Max did not go as well as they had hoped, yeah, of course, there is, ramifications because of that. I'm still saying they should have actually put it on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, just saying. But I wouldn't be surprised, because looking at how WarnerMedia CEO puts pressure on Amazon to carry HBO Max by the holidays, wouldn't be surprised if the House of Mouse had something to do with this because they know that HBO Max is big competition to Disney Plus. As Disney Plus is just Disney content. It's where HBO Max is their whole library. I bet Mickey was like, well, hey there, Amazon, how would you like to help me screw over the competition? Oh, I bet we would have a good time. I'll pay you some good money for it. I bet you right now that's what Mickey was like. He was probably over there just like trying to pay his way with Amazon to make sure that his competition doesn't, go over well. I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of it. But DC going through a bloodbath. Jim Lee, Bob Harris, Marie Javins in new DC Comics implosion rumors. Now, of course, we're going to talk about this as well as the aftermath. The aftermath came out just recently, so we're going to talk about that. So basically, a lot of people were said to be cut off here at DC, just completely laid off. And obviously, for DC Comics, we know the comic book industry has been falling apart. It has not been looking good at all. It's been collapsing for years. Comics are not okay. They are not okay. And I want to make that very clear. And so looking into this is what it states. The new DC implosion seems to have all but confirmed the departure of Mark Doyle, executive editor at DC Black Label. Other named reportedly now include DC editor-in-chief Bob Harris, vice president Global Publishing Initiative and Digital Strategy Bob Chase, DC editor Andy Corey. Oh, I am so sure people would love to see Andy Corey be gone from DC. Let me explain why. He's the reason that Vertigo, the adult DC line they had, DC Vertigo, he's the reason why that was shut down. He also hired criminals in DC, one of those being the creator of Border Town. And if you know what the creator of Border Town did, it was very disgusting things behind the scenes. Very, very gross stuff. And Andy Corey would go onto Twitter all the time and say very horrible things. Like one of the things that he would go on about was how DC doesn't need to have white people in it. Like he was trying to keep white people out of being hired from DC. That's how awful Andy Corey is. So if he is gone, oh, you better believe everybody'd be happy about that one, I think, because Andy Corey is a horrible human being. DC senior story editor Brian Cunningham and SVP publishing strategy and support services at DC Hank Canales. Now, the thing is that many people have been talking about this. Ethan Van Sciver has been talking about how the industry is going to collapse. It's, killing itself off. That's exactly what's been going on. People don't care about politics in comics. People don't care about that stuff. People don't care about the deconstruction of characters. In fact, people want characters to become better than they are. They don't want to see them get destroyed, be altered in ways that don't help their character at all. I mean, ridiculous stuff has been going on in the industry for years. I mean, that have led to this moment. And, even AT&T themselves don't find DC to be very important. They don't care about it. They've talked about how they would be willing to get rid of DC before. They've even thought about completely just shutting it down. I mean, look at Dan DiDio. Dan DiDio recently got fired as well. He was let go. So, I mean, it's imminent that this is going to fall, that DC is going to fall. Well, here's the thing. There were rumors, and these were the rumors. Well, get ready, because here's the aftermath of the bloodbath. After the bloodbath, the start of a new 2-year plan for DC Comics. Today is the birthday of DC Comics Chief Creative Officer Jim Lee. Well, a bad announcement for that day, huh? His presence seems to be that he still has a job. Yesterday, while working from home, a number of major DC Comics editorial figures were informed that they were being made redundant, along with around 800 Warner Bros. Staffers, as part of a major downsizing and streamlining of the corporate media giants. See, this is the point. It's going down. It's all going down. The comic book industry is not okay. For people that are saying that, oh, it's going to be fine, they'll recover, the industry's not going to recover. It's not going to recover. Jim Lee, who may have been the person who stated, oh, well, DC's been around for 85 years. It'll be around for another 85 years. I don't know about that, Jim. If anything, it might be around for another 85 seconds and then be completely crushed by AT&T because they don't care. And they don't. They really don't. So here are the listings of what happened, though. There are also reports that a specific person with experience in esports is being recruited for a general manager style role to replace the editor-in-chief and the senior editorial roles. These names of staffers leaving DC include DC editor-in-chief Bob Harris, executive editor at DC Black Label Mark Doyle, vice president Global Publishing Initiatives and Digital Strategy Bobby Chase, a DC editor, Andy Corey. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. Brian Cunningham, Hank Kellens, Eddie Chill, Sandy Resnick, and Sarah Haskell. So there's a few bits, but I'm sure a lot of people are happy about Andy Corey being gone because of the terrible things he did. But here's the big thing. DC has had opportunity after opportunity to change things. When you look at their employees, what are their employees typically doing? They are typically on Twitter, talking about their politics, attacking the fans. Fans have come out multiple times, tried to tell them, hey, don't do this. And then what do? They ignore anything that the fans have stated, and instead they attack the fans for critiquing them, trying to help them improve their company. And when they continue to make comics that don't sell, that people don't like, that don't appeal to the fans that have supported them for years upon years, you're going to lose customers. You're going to lose money. These comics that they've been producing, as well as Marvel, for example, what have they been doing? They've been sitting rotting on shelves. They don't help. You see, comic book stores have been closing down for such a long time. And that's because they can't sell these trash comics. They can't. And here's the thing, when you look at, these creators, the only way that some of these artists that are working for DC or Marvel, or any of these other, companies in the mainstream, they're going to have to go to crowdfunding, or they're going to have to go to YouTube, or they're going to have to go somewhere to get a following to be able to make money off making comics. Because with the industry falling, I mean, look, the mainstream comic book industry is dying. It is straight up dying. And that's what it's going to continue to do because they don't learn from their mistakes. It's going to continue to do that. I mean, they're going to have to find other alternatives. Otherwise, they're going to be out of job and they're going to be on the streets, plain and simple. I mean, that's, that's just how it is. I understand that Steve Geppi may be trying to get what remains of DC Comics back to distribution through Diamond Comics, but there are other reports that distribution at Print Comics may go completely in-house, and that UCS and Lunar was just the start, a trial run. But either way, Bleeding Cool made the comparison to the DC implosion of 1978. I'm going to tell you, I think this is worse than that when that happened. That almost saw the publisher's first comic book, Detective Comics, canceled. This time, it's the Bat books that are the safest, but everything else could be up for grabs. However, it has been pointed out repeatedly that a better comparison may be to the Marvolution episode of 1995. That's all. Marvel Comics take their distribution in-house and increase their line significantly, and the Marvolution that followed 4 days in 1996, which saw Marvel return to Diamond, many editors fired, the line rapidly reduced in size. It took until Dan Buckley arrived in 2003 to start and turn Marvel back around. See, here's the thing, though. With the industry, there is no turning around this time. There is no turning around. It's doomed. Realistically, the mainstream comic book industry is doomed. But it's also worth reminding folk that this event does happen periodically. The Naughties saw a spate. October 2011 was a big one at Marvel with a number of layoffs. 2014 saw 80 staff leave DC Comics as a result of the move to Burbank, and we had a run of redundancies last year at DC Comics. It's not okay, though. It's just getting worse. It's not getting better. It's getting worse, though. What this is not is the closure of DC Comics, a major change, absolutely, and the comic book market is going to get another hit at a time is least suited to be able to absorb. But just as with previous redundancies, it can lead to new comic book publishers setting up. A new swath of talent for the rest of the industry to benefit from, and a chance for DC Comics to focus on what it really wants. Here's the thing, though. I don't think that they're going to, get a change for the better for the industry. I think it's going to continue to collapse. These comic book artists, when you think about it, they keep saying that, oh, well, I'm not going to work for so-and-so. Well, here's the big thing. Are these comic book artists going to go to IDW? I don't think they're going to go to IDW, considering that IDW's been falling apart as well. Report claims IDW has fired new publisher Jed Myers. Look, firing a new publisher, that's already a bad sign. I mean, that's not good. So they're not going to work at IDW. They're certainly not going to work at Valiant. I mean, Valiant's already had to close down their headquarters, their big office that they have in New York. I mean, because they're working at home now. and they're continuing to go downhill as well. They're not going to work at Dynamite either. I mean, it's going terrible. And here's the thing: these layoffs, what this also means for Crunchyroll, because we're continuing to talk about WarnerMedia, right? They don't care about the status of DC, and with them focusing on HBO Max, well, what's going to happen to Crunchyroll? Well, they're probably going to just, shuffle in Crunchyroll with HBO Max. I mean, they already tried to sell Crunchyroll earlier this year. The only thing that got in the way of that shot down their plan, was the pandemic. Otherwise, what would they have done? Well, they would have tried to sell it off. I mean, they were already looking for a buyer. Sony themselves may have been a possible buyer. So, at that time, they were trying to already sell off Crunchyroll. So that's already not looking good for them. I mean, they'll probably just roll it in. And, I've heard from insiders when it comes to Rooster Teeth as well that they want to roll them into Cartoon Network, or at this point, just make all the studios just one big animation studio. And with Rooster Teeth continuing to, just collapse, which, they've canceled themselves when you think about it. And look at this, okay? Wonder Woman 1984 issue 1 gets variant cover from Robin Esberg from Rooster Teeth. Look, this is a collaboration with Rooster Teeth to make this monstrosity of artwork, which looks absolutely terrible. It doesn't look anything like Wonder Woman. It's garbage. And this is what DC had to say. Only one word for Wonder Woman 1984, number 1. Rooster Teeth variant cover by Robin Ellensberg. Rad. Rad. No, this is not rad. This is a terrible design. This is not stuff that comic book fans want. I mean, this is not Wonder Woman. It's just terrible. And people don't like this. This design is horrible. Who wants this as a variant cover? Who finds this good? I mean, it's terrible. This is a horrible design, and this goes to show that Rooster Teeth, they tried to say that, oh, we deserve to be around. Keep us around, please. Don't cut us off. With them trying to shout over here and say that we're going to get rid of the problematic content that doesn't fit our company's values. This company just canceled itself. I mean, they canceled themselves. But looking at it, when you see the cuts going at the top with WarnerMedia, you see the cuts from DC as well. Yeah, companies like Crunchyroll and Rooster Teeth, they're going to get hit hard. And with Rooster Teeth's case, they're going to be lucky if they're even around for a year. Because look at Machinima, for example. Machinima was doing so well. And even if a company that's doing so well that they own and they just chop it, that goes to tell you no one's safe. No one is safe. I mean, Machinima went down and it was doing well, one of the biggest channels on YouTube. I mean, it still has 12 million subscribers. And then they just chop it, right? You look at Drama Fever, very popular, and then one day just pull the plug out of nowhere. No company is safe under AT&T and WarnerMedia. They're just not. And with the big people at the top being cut, well, you better expect people in the lower half, they're going to get chopped too. I mean, it's looking very bad, and this bloodbath has just begun. This is only round 1. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels, so make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media, spread the word, and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.